Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So today, let's take a look at the latest generation for the BMW X6 M60i. Huge shout out to Hendrik Mini for providing this vehicle for me today. Take a look at their website, that link is down in the description. This X6 is finished off in Isle of Man green metallic, and they have a starting MSRP just shy of $97,000. Now this is powered by the 4.4 liter twin turbo V8 paired to the 8-speed automatic. It pumps out 617 horsepower, 553 pound-feet of torque. That power sent through the xDrive all-wheel drive system, propelling this 5,400-pound SUV from 0 to 60 in 3.7 seconds. It has a top speed up to 177 miles an hour. It also has a fuel capacity of 21.9 gallons. You'll expect to see 13 miles per gallon in the city and 18 out on the highway. This also has a wheelbase of 117 inches. Its overall length is 195. It has a width of 78.9, a height of 66.9, and its ground clearance measures in at 8.4 inches. Now, as we take a look at the exterior styling for this X6, the Isle of Man green is a very bold color for this SUV, but I think it looks very nice. Now, you'll notice too, this model also has a combination of brushed aluminum for the kidney grille surround. There's also gloss black in the middle section of the bumper. It's also equipped with a forward-facing camera. There's plenty of cutouts in the grille too to provide additional cooling. And then there's parking sensors along with the sensor for distance pacing in the very middle. There's also a lot more cutouts to provide additional cooling along with the cutouts on both edges there. And then a really nice set of LEDs for the lighting with a dark housing along with some of those blue accents for the laser light technology in the headlights there. And then there's also some very crisp lines coming down the hood to give it a great look. Now this model also has a two-tone design for the wheels, and it's spec'd with the blue M Sport brakes. Now there's also gloss black for the power folding side mirrors, which have a camera and a turn signal. There's more black trim accents for all of the window trim, and then this does get a sunroof up top. And then you'll notice some very crisp lines along with the fender arches running down the side. And with the X6, you get that sportback design. So it has that very steeply raked rear glass to give you more of that coupe look for an SUV. Now this model also has a small body colored spoiler. There's no wiper blade because of the steep rake for that glass. This does get LEDs for all of the lighting. There's a backup camera, all of the parking sensors, and then the dual exhaust system, which we will start up here very soon. Now, this also has a control on the key fob or the button up underneath where you can open up this power liftgate. Now, even with that sportback design, you're going to lose a little bit of height, but the rest of the cargo space is very ample. So you'll notice you can still fit a lot of items in here, along with underneath the floor too, where you have plenty of space. Now there's also some hooks. You have an area where you can place that cover so you can hide some items as needed, and then you can also fold down the back seats to get that much more space. So you're only really sacrificing a little bit of height, but you can still use this as a practical SUV. Now there's two buttons, as you saw. You can use those to close it or lock it. Now there's no proximity door handle for the rear, but you can actually use the fronts to unlock the rear. So that is a setting that you can have adjusted. Now for the interior, you'll notice there's the sunshades. There's also some brushed accents, wood trim, ambient lighting, really nice two-tone design with the white and black leather, and then plenty of storage in the lower section there. There's also an M badge, which is an illumination. And then take a look at these seats where we have the release there. So you can see from this angle, you have a huge cutout there. So you can place in several items. And then at 5'10", I can hop into the back where I have a good bit of space. You get storage pockets, you get an area you can charge and attach tablets. And then there's vents in the middle. You have your temperature controls, a little bit of storage, and an auxiliary down below. And then at my height, I have maybe an inch or so of headroom. So even with that design of the exterior, if you're a little taller than me, it might be tight, but like I said earlier, it's still a functional SUV, so you still have plenty of room. Now you also get storage in the armrest along with cup holders, and you can fold down this middle seat if you need to. So you have the ability to do that. There's also the small cargo windows there, so that way you can see around this pillar, breaks it up very nicely. Now up front, you'll notice that this has memory seating adjustments. You can open and close the liftgate. This control here, if you push on it, you can use the driver's side controls and adjust that front passenger seat, which is very helpful. This also has power folding side mirrors, all of the window controls, and then the same materials and design as you saw in back. And then we have a very nice design for these front seats, along with M60i down on the door sill. Now let's start this up and take a listen to that V8. And coming back to the gauge cluster now, you'll notice for this setting here, miles per hour is on the left, tach is on the right, and then there's also fixed information in the lower section. Now to go through some more of that info, you can use this button right in the middle, where you have content that you can scroll through within the center of the screen. You can even pull up the augmented reality. So it's a camera system. It's going to be a little bit better at nighttime visually to see, but you have that during the day if needed, along with the rest of this content depending on what you need to pull up. Now you can also get into the layout and adjust how you want to view this information, so it will change slightly. And the last one is for the head-up display, where you can go through several views here depending on the information that you would like. Now also on the right side, there's volume and tuning, Bluetooth and voice commands, you get paddle shifters, and then cruise control settings on the left. Now there's also a large storage bin down below, all of the headlight controls, you get one air vent with more ambient lighting in that entire trim accent. And then as we work our way to the infotainment system, you have all of the controls in the lower section. So this is all fixed, making it very easy to get into, where there's Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, several different settings to go into to set this up the way that you would like. Now on the home screen, you have the nav on one side, and then there's also info on this left side. So that way you can go through all of that as needed. You can easily get into your climates, pull up the navigation, there's music, and then you have shortcuts to your heated and ventilated seats, and then temperature adjustments for driver and passenger. Really nice wood trim accent underneath that, along with the ambient M logo on that passenger side. You get air vents in the middle, there's volume tuning and some defrosters. There's also wireless charging with tons of space, cup holders and auxiliaries, and then you'll notice all the shortcuts down below for this screen. So you don't have to use it as a touchscreen system, which is nice. You have these controls that you can use as needed. Now, in order to put this into reverse, simply just push the crystal shifter forwards, and that is how you can pull up the system where we have the 360 view. So that way you can bring that 3D view up and go around the entire vehicle. This also has gesture control, so you can use that as needed to go around the vehicle, which is pretty neat to see. So you have quite a lot of angles there. And then you have drive, the sport mode settings, so you can use the paddles, and then park is located behind that. Now there's also traction control, parking sensors, and then a few different driving modes. So this will change the background, but it will also change your throttle response too, and the exhaust slightly. There's a downhill assist, auto hold, and the e-brake, and then an auxiliary with storage in the armrest. You have a locking glove box with plenty of space, and then garage door buttons up top, dome lights, and controls for the sun shade and sunroof there. And then here's a look at visibility. You have that window there, which I mentioned earlier, definitely helps to see around that pillar. Same with the left shoulder too. You can't really see through that window, but you can easily see out of that back glass, which again is helpful. As we set up behind the wheel for the X6M, this model also has some other creature comforts like the power adjusting steering wheel, and it also features rear wheel steering. So that gives you a lot better of a turning radius for parking lot situations and better maneuverability. It's not a huge vehicle, but that's still something very beneficial to have. So I've been able to drive the X6s in general. I own an X5, so it's nearly identical to that, minus that exterior body shape for the X6. So we just have more of that sportback design. Either way you go, this is still a practical SUV, so it just depends on what you're looking for out of your SUV. It is still going to be a practical vehicle, something that you can sit high up here. I know a lot of people like that seating position, especially in an SUV. And it's something that is super comfortable to drive. I have no complaints with my X5. It's been a great vehicle over the last almost 2 years of ownership with that car. And I bought it specifically because it was my wife's dream vehicle, but also after driving several BMWs, just the refinements that you get in this vehicle, and any BMW really, it's a really nice luxury focused vehicle to drive. Now with this X6, being the M60, you get a lot of performance with this too. So if you're looking for a performance-oriented SUV, this is a great option to go with. And even coming around a turn, this has the M adaptive suspension. There's no height adjustments or anything, but it's going to give you a really nice ride. This is something that can corner well. It's not a sports car, it's not a coupe. For its weight, you know, it's still something that you could take around some turns. but it's definitely going to give you a suspension that's both daily driver friendly and something that you can still have some sporty driving characteristics with. Seats are also very comfortable for this model here. And let's give it another acceleration as we merge into traffic here. Sounds really good. Paddle shifters are also very responsive too, what you'd expect from a performance-oriented BMW. And it's just gonna give you a really nice ride. This model also has the Harman Kardon audio, so you can get a really good sound system from this here too, just to get those tunes while you're driving. And we're still in sport mode, second gear. Here we go. And just a minor acceleration, we're up to speed. This is what it's like to be behind the wheel for the X6. What I like about all of the sporty SUVs from BMW is that you can still get that performance. Now, if you're looking for more of a practical vehicle, you want an SUV, maybe you have a family, you need a little bit more space, you can still get performance. You're not sacrificing too much to go away from a coupe or a sedan to get into a vehicle like this. So it's still going to give you that fun factor. My X5 is not the top trim level, but it has the paddles, it has a few of these driving modes, and I can still have fun in it, even though it's not a high trim level like this. So it has the B58 in it, which is the inline six, not a twin turbo V8, but either way, it is still fun to drive. And then, like I mentioned earlier, with all-wheel steering, look at how tight that was. Definitely very easy to maneuver and drive. Now, it's also nice, let's go ahead and put it into Eco Pro, where you can still use the paddle shifters, but it is going to limit your throttle response. Now, with the amount of power that this has, it'll limit it somewhat, but it's still a quick vehicle to get up and move. And it's so quiet, well-refined feeling, and just a great place to be. But that is going to wrap it up for this X6 M60i. Once again, huge shout out to Hendrick Mini for providing this for me today. Take a look at their website, give this video a huge thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and consider smashing that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.